Many aspects of safety and security in the aviation industry are exemplary of evolving safety and technology standards. That's because the FAA emphasizes safety management systems in the advisement and regulation of aircraft, pilots, and ports. But who's looking after the cyber side of things? Starting with the basics, safety management systems include everyone in the airport and on the airplane. Safety management systems use crew resource management concepts to direct each level of legitimate access, from passengers to staff, to look for, identify, and assess risks, and to take the appropriate actions to mitigate those risks. There are risks associated with the cyber aspect of aviation as well. Let's apply safety management system concepts to aviation networks. First, we need to assess the risks. Flight systems and in-flight entertainment systems often share the same network. Unfortunately, devices on the same local area network, like the general access Wi-Fi, are discoverable. Through discovery, malicious hackers can target individuals. Hackers bump targets off the legitimate Wi-Fi by sending a disassociate packet. At the same time, they broadcast their own Wi-Fi network, deceptively titling it the same as the legitimate system. This causes users to inadvertently sign into the wrong network. Through this process, hackers gain access to sensitive data, including payment information. Based on the theory that nodes on the same system can be discoverable, hackers could potentially affect internet serviced flight deck systems too. Similarly, data that travels through satellites is easily accessible. This has been a known concern for many years. Recently, an expert in the field criticized the stagnance of security measures for satellite data compared to other fields, citing that with $300 worth of satellite TV equipment and some Googling, anyone can see everything sent from an ISP to a user and everything unencrypted, like HTTP sites. Some official communications that you might expect to be private, like from airplanes and even a submarine, were found to be accessible too. If it's that easy to take a peek, how much risk is there that a skillful hacker with malicious intent could establish two-way connectivity and control through shared Wi-Fi or open satellite access points? And what is the extent of the potential for harm? Because we know that failure of flight deck systems has resulted in catastrophic consequences, and because the potential for unofficial flight deck access can be easily mitigated, network security risks are unacceptable. Aviation network security standards must evolve accordingly. Safety management systems require that we take action when we recognize a risk. The current safeguards largely depend on password protection and personal prowess. But now that we recognize the level of risk, we know that's not enough. When comparing to the constant advancement of other aviation-related security measures, it kind of makes you wonder why this has been going on for so long without doing anything about it. Apathy towards a known risk is incongruent with safety management system principles. We must take action to protect aviation patrons and industry network systems. The flight deck and the in-flight entertainment systems share the same network and hardware, but they shouldn't. And neither ought airport ground control systems share network or hardware with general use Wi-Fi. We need to invest in research and development on internet service provider and satellite communications technologies. Clients should be able to send a server request, which imposes random two-way encryptions on data. Aviation clients should request that internet service providers encrypt data transmitted to them. Functional and public access networks must use separate hardware. The integral system will have its own modem and firewalls. It will run on a protected independent power supply. Nodes will be redundantly connected with a partial mesh topology using EMP-resistant, processing-efficient fiber optic cabling. The guest system will also have its own modem and firewalls, but it will run off a local power source, and nodes will be connected using single Ethernet and wireless connections. Both networks employ a standard of the latest and most capable processing hardware. For example, the 802.11ac router, which is better equipped to handle multiple users and to function smoothly under aviation conditions. In-flight entertainment systems should not be a single group shared area network. Each row of seats should have its own router, and auto-generated local area networks should be assigned to each seat. Corresponding sign-in credentials will be assigned at ticketing and printed on the portion of the ticket that tucks into the ticket sleeve. Respectively, on an electronic ticket, scroll down will be required to view. Both will feature a note advising to protect the privacy of this information from predatory shoulder surfing. Only a device or group of devices sharing a singular source of identity credentials can sign into any given network. For example, a phone and a laptop that are registered users of the same Microsoft account. Furthermore, the initial device will have to grant permission to authenticate each additional device's sign-in attempts. Just as passengers are warned not to leave their bags unattended and not to watch anybody else's bags, passengers will be instructed not to share their assigned Wi-Fi network. The system will feature automated detection of unauthorized signals. A centralized active ground security will monitor for and act on unauthorized detections. Efforts will be made to identify the source of all unauthorized signals, to block unauthorized broadcasts, and to make necessary alerts to prevent inadvertent connections, and to investigate and prosecute predatory hacking attempts and unauthorized use. High-risk exposures, like large passenger jets and ATC and airport ground controls, should be isolated from general use area signals by signal obstructors, like thin embedded lining of lead in adjacent dividers. Safety in aviation cannot rely on the expertise or the goodwill of the patronage. Not only will each user of an aircraft have their own private Wi-Fi network, but they will also be provided an automated temporary individual virtual private network. When connecting to an aviation network, protocols will be in place which, upon sign-in, automatically implement a series of security processes. These feature an automated run-to-connect procedure on devices, which would force sign-out, clear cookies, automatically save, backup, and screenshot data and drafts to a complementary private encrypted temporary individual network folder, and shut down all apps and programs. Then, the actual sign-in will commence, granting access and protecting all data with encryption. The system will be designed with layers of VPNs, which will use packet-in-packet encryptions to safely tunnel data. In the future, not only will aviation networking systems protect industry transmissions and general use data privacy, but it will also be extended to mitigate additional ongoing risks, like terrorism, immigration, and customs enforcement, especially for international travel. Hub and vector connections will have automatic monitoring software in place to detect keywords such as bomb, drugs, and names of wanted criminals, to scan for illicit images, to identify individuals with known criminal associations, and to discover immigration's related fraudulent activity on devices. The system will be actively maintained and monitored, and will also monitor for non-authorized signals, and will implement screen and code recognition protocols. Furthermore, the sources of criminal activity will be identified, investigated, prosecuted, as well as flagged in the system for future suspicion. It is important to maintain all aspects of aviation security. Safety management systems make all of us responsible for assessing risks. Because we know the current safeguards are dated and insufficient, it's time for some necessary changes to be made. The future applications of aviation cybersecurity expand beyond the scope of protecting sensitive information. Expanding cybersecurity contributes to all aspects of security concerns. We can no longer look the other way while this threat lingers. It is our responsibility to take action.